On June 30, 1908, deep in the remote wilderness of Siberia, an explosion shook the Earth with the force of 1,000 atomic bombs. Known today as the Tunguska Event, this mysterious blast flattened over 80 million trees across more than 2,000 square kilometers. The strangest part: no crater was ever found. For more than a century, scientists, explorers, and conspiracy theorists have tried to explain what really happened that day. Was it a meteor, a comet, or something far more mysterious? It was a calm summer morning in the sparsely populated Tunguska region, near the Podkamennaya Tunguska River. Local Evenki people, along with Russian settlers, began their day as usual, tending to reindeer, preparing meals, and working in the forest. Suddenly, around 7:17 a.m., a massive fireball streaked across the sky. Eyewitnesses described it as the sun splitting in two, leaving behind a trail of blinding blue-white light. Seconds later, a deafening shockwave shook the ground, shattering windows hundreds of kilometers away and knocking people off their feet. Reports came from hundreds of kilometers away. People in villages described a massive glowing object moving across the sky, trailing fire and smoke. A farmer named Semyon Semyonov recalled, "The sky opened up, and fire covered the whole northern part. At that moment, I became so hot I couldn't bear it, as if my shirt had caught fire." Many said the ground shook violently, and some thought the world was ending. The blast knocked down horses, shattered wooden houses, and was heard as far as 1,000 kilometers away. When the dust settled, the devastation was unimaginable. An estimated 80 million trees had been flattened in a massive butterfly-shaped pattern pointing away from the epicenter. The force of the explosion released energy equivalent to 10 to 15 megatons of TNT, making it the most powerful impact event in recorded history. And yet, no crater was found. Instead, in the center of the destruction, trees stood upright, stripped of branches and bark like eerie, ghostly poles. The Tunguska blast wasn't just local. Across Europe and Asia, people reported strange glowing skies for several nights. Newspapers in London, Paris, and Berlin wrote about the midnight sun, where it was bright enough to read a newspaper outdoors at midnight. Scientists later realized that fine particles from the explosion had scattered in the atmosphere, reflecting sunlight around the globe. For many, this mysterious glow only deepened the sense of awe and fear about what had truly happened in Siberia. For nearly 2 decades, the Tunguska region remained untouched after the blast. Travel into the remote Siberian taiga was nearly impossible, and political turmoil in Russia delayed any scientific exploration. Finally, in 1927, Soviet scientist Leonid Kulik led the first expedition. With a team of guides and researchers, he braved swamps, rivers, and harsh terrain to reach the epicenter. Kulik was shocked by what he saw: trees flattened for miles in every direction, yet no sign of a crater. The devastation looked fresh, as if nature had only just been struck by a cosmic hammer. At the epicenter, Kulik's team found an unusual pattern. The ground showed signs of intense heat, but there were no fragments of a meteorite. Trees were scorched but not burned, and no crater could be found. Instead, they noticed the butterfly-shaped blast pattern radiating outward, which seemed to confirm that the shock wave had come from above the ground. Kulik collected soil and plant samples, but none revealed definitive evidence of what had caused the explosion. The indigenous Evenki people of Siberia had their own explanations. Many believed that a god or spirit had sent a fiery curse upon the land. Some spoke of the thunder god hurling fire from the sky. Others whispered that it was the wrath of a shaman or an omen of disaster. These legends painted the event not as a natural phenomenon, but as a supernatural punishment, a story passed down through generations. The The most widely accepted explanation is that a large meteorite or asteroid exploded in the atmosphere before hitting the ground. Scientists estimate it was about 50 to 60 meters in diameter, entering Earth's atmosphere at tremendous speed. The heat and pressure caused it to detonate mid-air, releasing energy equivalent to 15 megatons of TNT. This blast flattened the forest but left no crater, since the object never actually hit the ground. Another theory suggests that the object was not a solid asteroid but a comet, made mostly of ice and dust. If a comet entered Earth's atmosphere, it would disintegrate completely, leaving almost no trace behind. This could explain the lack of a crater or solid debris. The immense energy release would still be enough to flatten the forest. Supporters argue that this is the most plausible reason why scientists never found physical fragments. Beyond the mainstream ideas, stranger explanations emerged. Some claimed it was the result of a black hole passing through Earth. Others suggested a natural gas explosion from beneath Siberia's swampy land. More imaginative theories even proposed an alien spacecraft had exploded in mid-air. While these ideas are often dismissed by scientists, they continue to fuel the mystery and keep the Tunguska event alive in popular culture. In recent decades, advanced technology has allowed scientists to revisit the Tunguska mystery with fresh eyes. Satellite imagery, soil sampling, and computer simulations have all been used to study the event. Some researchers found traces of rare minerals and tiny silicate and magnetite particles, which suggest an extraterrestrial origin. Computer models of atmospheric explosions also match the flattened pattern of the forest, supporting the theory of a massive air burst. Despite many expeditions, no large meteorite fragments have ever been recovered. However, microscopic glassy particles were discovered in the soil and tree resin. These could be remnants of a space rock or comet nucleus. For some, this absence of clear debris remains the biggest challenge in solving the Tunguska mystery. Researchers continue to explore the area, hoping to uncover evidence that will finally close the case. The Tunguska event is not just a historical curiosity, it's also a warning. Astronomers study it as an example of what could happen if a larger asteroid ever collides with Earth. Today, organizations around the world scan the skies to detect and track near-Earth objects. Tunguska remains a reminder of how vulnerable our planet is to cosmic forces, and why understanding such events is crucial for humanity's future. More than a century later, the Tunguska event remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in modern history. While the meteor airburst theory is the most widely accepted, the lack of physical evidence still leaves room for speculation. From alien theories to hidden comet fragments, countless explanations have been proposed, yet none can fully silence the questions. The Tunguska explosion reminds us of both the power of nature and the vast mysteries still hidden in our universe. It is a story where science and speculation meet, and where answers remain just out of reach.